the woman stuff, the funny battle that I found myself at the forefront of was what the sexism of the world would allow a female powerful person to be like, which is essentially very masculine, right? They have to be very masculine.
Right.
And so I got caught in this interesting forefront of trying to make a very feminine person powerful, and it just made everybody so uncomfortable. But of course, that's what the women were waiting for. We're waiting for a woman that we relate with, because she's feminine. She's feminine. She's beautiful. She's funny. She's, got vulnerabilities, and she's a badass. And so that was the most interesting, thing about that period of time.
So that was but that was like, this was something you had to work out, like that you had to assess that these women that do get mythological status act like men. So you had to figure out how to load up Wonder Woman with enough depth to be all these other things.
It was easy. It was easy. it comes second nature to me. I didn't have to figure anything out. I've just been watching other things saying I have no relationship with that. So I was watching these so female badass movies over and over again. And I was like, you just put a woman's body on top of a plot line of a man, And it's like always about rape and revenge, because that's what men, that's like the only thing they can get to sometimes to fuel action for women is that they would be
She's crazy, man. She's going to kill some dudes.
Yeah. Why else would a woman kill people? She was raped, you know, like it's just these things. So for me, it was very easy. I've known so many super badass women who were super feminine. And I love Wonder Woman, by the way. And Wonder Woman was inherently that. Like Linda Carter's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, for sure.
How beautiful she was like intrinsic to it. For her to become harder is not Wonder Woman.
But also like on that show, like as a template, I mean, she was not menacing.
No.
You know, she was.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
She's going to save the day because she's a superhero.
Right.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So that was an interesting thing. And I was very lucky. Zack Snyder was a great producer and had my back and, supported me. And, I was able to steer the ship over to where it needed to be.
Well, yeah, it was the whole experience of like this idea of the one thing, because I don't watch a lot of superhero movies and I haven't read a lot of comic books, is you have to sort of accept like, hey, how come that's like that? No, don't worry about it. It just is. Okay. Like there are things that you just have to, this is not real. It's not real life. So that's the way that is. Okay. Yeah. Fine.
No, it's a funny line to walk all the time because you are like Wonder Woman would never. I remember my husband commenting when there was this big war about whether Batman would kill people or not. And like, it was just raging back and forth. And finally my husband leaned to me and he's like, does everybody know Batman's not real? That he's a fictional character, that he does every different thing in different comic books, Right. But, yeah, it's a funny thing.
Well, I mean, well, that's sort of a couple of questions. I guess with the first one, what was the expectation? Are there, like, in doing that movie and working with the studio, are there either your own or studio or a mixture of boxes you got to check as someone making?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But nobody knows that more than I do, and nobody cares about it more than I do.
What are they?
In fact, it's got to have a hero that you can fall in love with and identify with. It's got to have great action. It really should have, in certain ones, it should have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it needs to be super entertaining.
Okay.
Like those are the things you have to satisfy, and it should be true to the hero that you're doing because you have a huge fan base, So those sorts of things, that was honestly what I was the most obsessed with coming in, is I was like, okay, I felt like I was a perfectly good choice to make Wonder Woman because I loved Wonder Woman. I was like, I know I love Wonder Woman and I know I love these films. So, it might as well be somebody who feels that way. But then the responsibility of like, I have to satisfy every Wonder Woman fan throughout history, and Linda Carter and the studio and myself.
I like Linda Carter's in there.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. I called her right away and I was like, Linda, I just want to tell you, I'm not like rebooting Wonder Woman. I just literally want to take a torch of something so beautiful that you started and just pass it forward,
And what'd she say?
She was super, relieved and happy, and we became fast friends, and we talk all the time, and has stayed a dear friend.
Now, after you make it, I know I don't want to run out of time and have to Russian ending. But it's good that we're here and we haven't talked much about the new one because I don't want to spoil anything because I know that Warner Brothers will have me killed if I even share any of this. But like after the Wonder Woman comes out and the reaction, what did you find the most moving about it? Was it the little girls? I mean, like
it was. You know what? It was the people who saw of all kinds who started going and seeing it over and over again and dressing up as a character. But it was all kinds of people because it was also like the way women were reacting to it blew my mind because even I was making the movie. I'm not thinking about being a woman and I'm not thinking about her being a woman that much. I know it. And I sort of remember thinking like, of course I'm going to be the first woman to whatever, but I wasn't thinking about the audience being so hungry for that every day as I'm making it. I'm just not thinking about it. So that part was like, whoa, the thirst for it. And then the people like men in wheelchairs and trans cosplay people who, like finding themselves in Wonder Woman, it being a different kind of hero that made them feel that they could relate when they hadn't been able to feel that before, and then No Man's Land, the guy in the wheelchair told me the story about No Man's Land, reminding him of like every time he has to go to the hospital and they have to take all his clothing off and pull him up and stand him on his feet. And I was so, and he's like, and that's my No Man's Land. I'm naked and alone and everybody's, and it's like, woof, just, it goes back to Superman. It's like that I get to do that for other people, what Superman did for me.
And the mythology works. Like that it's like the mythic story has personal applications. That's sort of fascinating.
That's what I've always believed in. And even I am proud of the movie that I made, but I also felt like it's not just me. That kind of story, people were so thirsty for the story of that kind of true north, very simple hero story. We don't tell it very often now.
Right. I guess that's true. Yeah, they're always a little dark. There's always a little dirt there.
Complicated and niche. Same thing that I was facing at art school. It just infected the film industry too. It's always a joke on a joke and a hat on a hat. And, it's like, it's not just like.
I think in the Homeric hero has a Achilles heel, but not necessarily some dark wound. But But like with the new one, how is it affecting you that a great many people will not be able to see it on a big screen?
I have the weirdest mix of feelings because I never would have thought I could be okay with this. Never. I'm a pure theatrical experience person.
Well, we're in difficult times here.
As the year went on, and suddenly when this idea came up of doing it this way at Christmas, it felt so right. I was like, now is the moment. I myself am craving seeing the film. Like I'm craving what the film has in it. And I've seen it so many times, I can't stand it.
There is some
watching it again.
It's a little gnarly,
but I'm thirsty for positivity and bigness and escape and all of those things. So to my shock, I'm like devastated that there are going to be people who can't see it at all because they can't figure out how to stream it and they can't get to a theater. But I feel incredible about getting to share something that we love and worked on with people on the heels of and in the midst of such a super dark time.
Yeah, and also there is a certain amount of relevance. This one more than the other one, which is a period piece. This is a period piece, but it does speak to some of what we're going through or what possibly could
hugely.
Yeah.
And that was what it was meant to do. That was what it was. That was why I picked the 80s. I was like, I don't want to talk about now in literal terms, but that was the height of what got us to where we are now.
You did the 80s. It looked great. It looked great, the 80s. I just did a show in the 80s. It's kind of like, it's nice to see it. You paid a lot of attention. You just I don't know where the hell you found all those outfits. You must have had to make some of them.
Oh my God. Very few did we have to make. It was, let me tell you, it was not easy. That mall though was so incredible to stand in the mall.
Where was that?
It was like going back in time. It was in Virginia.
So it was just one of those intact malls from the period that you had to.
But it was empty and shut down.
Oh.
And so we just rebuilt every store in that mall.
No kidding.
Period. And it was very expensive and laborious. But boy, was it a trip once it happened. And you're standing there looking.
You look great.
Thank you.
And I'd never seen that guy, Pedro Pascal. I don't know that guy. So he's like totally new to me.
Yeah.
And what a great a character he put together there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear you say that because I love his performance.
Oh, it's like
and it's
wild,
funny,
man.
He's super serious in everything else you've ever seen, and like I think this is so that's a pocket that not a lot of people can.
But
hit.
also so broken. But so like it all is coming from this insane trauma and injury or whatever, and you can feel it right away. But it's like he takes it to the hilt.
Yeah.
I did. I guess I can't really tip anything, but I was wondering about the plane, and I'm glad we got closure on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was funny. I realized the plot line to the second film while I was making the first one. And it's going to be interesting to finally see people satisfied by the fact that, no, there's a rhyme and a reason behind things. So just bear with me.
And you wrote,
see the film.
Right. And you wrote this one. So this is all you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. With two partners. Yeah. With Jeff Johns and Dave Callahan.
And did you have to honor the comic books? Did you honor the comic books? I don't know the comic books.
You do and you don't. You are writing your own comic book when you do these movies, and so you're doing your own thing. But then, of course, you're honoring the history of Barbara Minerva and the history of Max Lord, and all. You're getting very into the details of these things.
Right. So you know the character.
Yeah.
Well, it was great talking to you.
So great to talk to you too.
Nice meeting you finally.
Yeah, you too. You too. So fun. This was a great conversation.
It was, and I hope the movie kills.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
I appreciate it. You too. Thanks, Marc.
That was I enjoyed talking to her. She's focused. The movie is Wonder Woman 1984, streaming now on HBO Max and playing in theaters. Her movie Monster is a masterpiece, and it was lovely to talk to her. And don't forget, if you're feeling depressed, overwhelmed, or anxious, BetterHelp offers licensed online counselors who are trained to listen and help. Talk with your counselor in a private online environment at your convenience. Just fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs, then get matched with a counselor in under 48 hours. BetterHelp is an affordable option, and for WTF listeners, you get 10% off your first month with the discount code WTF. Get started today at betterhelp.com/WTF. Talk to a therapist online and get help. Get help! Gonna play some mud here on my new Gibson SG Captain model. Humbuckers. Here we go. Monkey, LaFonda, cat angels everywhere.